Okay. Good morning, everyone. This is progress meeting number 12 for the Donovan Smith Mobile Home Park Project, sewer and water replacement. We've used 357 days on a 630-day contract, and there's 273 days remaining. So that puts us just a little beyond the midway point in terms of time. And in terms of percent completed work, we're approximately 30% complete. If you recall from previous meetings, that gap is kind of the same gap as it's been for the several meetings, and mostly related to the late start of the project itself. Now that they're on site and working, the progress has been pretty good, and we're going to go through it in a little bit here. So I've attached the schedule, which is the most recent schedule that Teal's given us, and it hasn't changed for the last couple of months. So we'll go through the work completed since the previous meeting, and it was a good month of work, or a month or so of work since the last meeting. They've completed 684 feet of sewer main, 32 vertical feet, which equates to 5 manholes were installed. Frames and covers on those manholes were installed. 17 Y branches, which relate to the services. They've got 11 sewer laterals with clean out frames and covers. And there was 235.9 cubic yards of type B stone, which is essentially the trench restoration, the stone that goes in the trench as part of trench restoration. So I've done some calculations and crunched some numbers just to take a look at, where we are and where, looking ahead and see how close to schedule we are. So we've installed 2,476 feet of sewer main total to date, which leaves about 2,034. Last month's, when you took out rain days and such, they were averaging about 70 feet of sewer main per day. And if you look at what remains to be done on the sewer side only, there's 29 working days of work left at that same rate or productivity, which gives you a completion of the sewer main around March 19th. Clean outs and laterals, they've been averaging about 5 a day. There's 103 left. That's another 21 days. So the projected completion for the sewer work in its entirety for the project would be around plus or minus April 15th. The schedule indicates April 1st. When I just was talking to the contractor a little bit here, we expect also that the daily productivity should pick up as they move forward, because they start at the lowest point and they finish at the shallowest point. So the amount of excavation, the amount of effort, the amount of work to do the end section of sewer should be less. So that productivity should pick up, should put them somewhere between the 1st of April and April 15th, which is, like I said, per the schedule that they've submitted. So they're doing a good job of staying on schedule now that they're here and working regularly. So the work to be completed in next month, they're going to continue on the sewer main. I think they're on Grandview now. They're going to finish Grandview and then go, what I'm calling to the back, I guess, is it down the Forest and finish up the sewer main down there. I also, Dwayne has indicated to me, at least Johnny, that they're going to start doing a bunch of sewer testing. So the sewer, once it's installed, needs to be pressure tested and mirror tested and mandrel tested. So since they've got better than 50% done, we're looking at completing a lot of that testing in the next month also. I don't know, Johnny, is there anything else you think that might happen in the next month?
No, you've covered it pretty well.
Okay. So SRF funding, no change on the wage rate interviews. We conduct them at the beginning of the job. Our plan is to conduct them at the end of the job. I continue to get weekly certified payrolls from Teal. We've been reviewing those and all those have been reviewed and been satisfactory to date. So I don't know, Keith, anything else we need to mention on the SRF funding side? Okay. Payments 1 through 9 have been received, and I believe they've been paid 1 through 9, and I currently have 10 was just submitted the other day, so I'm taking a look at that. DelDOT items were not in DelDOT jurisdiction currently. We won't be until the end of the project where we go back out into Donovan's Road and complete the work in Donovan's Road. We're going to mill and pave that road at the completion of this project. Just a reminder to contact Miss Utility 48 hours in advance of any excavations. Notification of residents and communication with residents, they kind of go hand in hand. I think by now everyone on the project knows Dwayne Hoffman. Dwayne's been pretty good about notifying people when they're going to be working in a certain area, making sure their cars are out of their driveway if the work's going to be in front of their home, et cetera. So I haven't heard of any issues there, and that's all good. So communication with residents, again, Dwayne, I think everyone knows Dwayne by this point. Just a reminder, any issues, go to Dwayne with them first. And like I just said, Dwayne's been doing a pretty good job of communicating, moving cars or getting cars moved when they need to be moved, et cetera. Item C under that, once again, there has been some disruption hitting water lines and things like that. That has calmed down, right, Dwayne? It seems like probably just by chance, we're in an area where there's not a lot of existing utilities that on the water side especially. So that's kind of calmed down, but RFIs, they are requests for information. Contractor, we've been working together for a while, knows that they need to submit those to me in writing. Safety, just a reminder, safety is the sole responsibility of contractor. They need to abide by all local, state, federal safety regulations. As far as I know, there's been no incidents on the job, which is a good thing. We want to keep it that way. And for the duration of the project. Johnny, submittals, I think the only submittals that are outstanding would be the paving material submittals, particularly on the DelDOT side. We have time for that. And then at the end of the job, I know I need to provide an AIS certification to the state. Survey stakeout, I've received all cut sheets. I know there were some revisions to some and you gave me those, but layout and stakeout is ongoing. I have not heard of any job site complaints in the last month. We'll get to it. We'll get to a question and answer period here at the end. So we'll see. Inspection hours used 357 since the last meeting, 1,222 hours to date, 26 hours and 35 hours remaining. The 3,500 hours of inspection time was based on the duration of the contract from notice to proceed to completion date. So those numbers are jiving pretty good with the amount of work complete, et cetera. So we lost 4 days last month due to weather. It's just that time of year. On February and March, probably going to be similar. It's just a tough time of the year. 10 days in total, which is not bad at all. Trench backfill, again, reminder every meeting for the contractor to manage the material that's coming out of the ground. The material itself is very good material. suitable for backfill. It's pretty sandy material. We'd like to reuse that, keep the cost of the project down. They've been doing a good job with it, and for the most part, we haven't had to import any offsite material, or very, very little at least. Contingency items, the only contingency items that we've used in the last month, there were some additional hours, crew hours, utility crew rate hours, 4 hours, brings a total to 17.5 for the project. And that is mostly due to running into utilities unexpectedly with breaking water line, et cetera. So again, a reminder at all the meetings about the requirement of red line drawings. Make sure your fellows are keeping the red lines up to date. Change orders, the only change orders we have, there are no additional change orders other than the 2 that have been executed, which were for some changes with the water service connections. Discussion item, I left that on there. That's from previous meeting where we had that issue with there was some significant ponding in front of one of the properties on Central Avenue. I know that both the contractor and the park came out, and the contractor cleaned the inlet protection fabric, and I believe the park hired a plumber to go and flush the lines. I haven't heard of any continuing problems there since we've done that work. So with that, that was the only discussion item I really had, and that was from a previous meeting. We can go around the room for any questions and comments. Start with Austin.
Just a question, and maybe it's here, I just can't
Sure.
decipher it. How many people are now on sewer and how many people are now?
Oh, yeah,
on
we were
water?
put that on. So the exact number, everyone in Cooper Circle is connected to both water and sewer. The exact number is 18, 19.
I think it's 17, but all the open lots are tied in also.
Just do me a favor, add sewer and water to this report. I get it, linear feet, that's important.
Yeah,
But what I care about is
Add
people being
connection.
able to flush toilets and have clean water.
gotcha.
How often is Donovan Smith required to test the water? And have we seen the latest one of those?
I would assume it's no different than what ours is. We're not doing it. We'll do it in the off season. We'll do it once a month. All those get submitted to the state. That's like,
The last one they did was good. The last one they
yeah,
said,
I believe you can go online and pull it from the Department of Public Health.
but how often are they required to do it? Do you have any idea?
Like I said, I'm assuming it's the same as ours, at least a month. And in the prime season, we do it twice a month.
You're talking about their water.
Their water,
Yeah,
their drinking.
Their water system.
Because they're their own system operator.
I know in PA, it is once a month. You have to get the sewer and the water tested. I don't know what it is here in Delaware.
Can someone smarter than me find that data? You guys gave it to us the last.
We had it, remember Kate
Yeah.
was here, she
Yeah.
gave a little presentation, she gave the website address and kind of a little bit of instruction on how to get on the website. and
Yeah, I
that.
don't remember any of that because I'm old.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have to pull that stuff back out.
If you could, I'd appreciate it. I want to make sure that the water that these guys are drinking is good as it can be. Thank you.
Mhm. Robin,
No good.
Janelle? Johnny, Wade?
Two things. When the weather gets cold and the lines freeze in people's trailer, they want to put garden hoses on and run their water all night long. So the pipes don't freeze, to keep it moving. That's fine, but keep it to the backside of your property. Again, this morning, we had a garden hose out on the street and it's making the roads wet. Mother Nature does enough of that for us, okay? we need to try to keep that to a minimum. Like I said, put it in the back of your property if you want to let the garden hose run all night. Second thing is there has been some issues with sewer, okay? I'm there every day. Some people call me on Saturdays. I come over and I try to work with people to make the situation right. If there's a problem, please call me. I don't care what time it is, okay? Don't make accusations and call this city, which should not even have to be involved in, unless I'm not doing my job. Then you have every right to call the city or the BPW, okay? Don't give them false information. Okay, because it just creates a big hornet's nest. That's all I can ask. Thank you very much.
John?
Nothing to add.
Keith?
Have there been any more issues with the sewer lines, the individual plumbing once you get to that housing or? It's all been-
So we haven't been doing any connections since
Oh, okay.
November.
Alright.
There was some downtime or I guess crew time on Seneca. There's 4 locations maybe where there's drain lines coming from the existing system within the park that cross Seneca and go to the drain field. Again, those are not marked on the drawings. There's no maps or drawings for their location. The contractor has hit 1 or 2 excavating to put the sewer in. Each time they were hit, there was a release of sewage. It was confined to the excavation, and the park owner was called. They pumped it, they called the pump truck in, pumped it out. It was confined to the area of the excavation. Dwayne had contacted Denrec, Derek Carruthers from Denrec. So that has occurred during the work on Seneca.
I just know there was one house where you were tying into. the
Yes.
line on the lateral.
Yeah, that was in
to
Cooper Circle.
actually, do some work, the plumbing that was underneath the house or something like that. I was just curious if you ran into any more of that, but.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like you did.
Well, we haven't been right once we've finished up in Cooper Circle. So
One thing about these drain lines, it's a pipe that comes under the ground and has 2 sets of holes in it, like every 6 inches. The old drain field coming from the tank I have pictures of it, and I share these with Denrec every time we run into a situation. We don't even hit the pipe sometimes. We're 3 feet away from it. But there's a trench that's 2 foot wide and it's 3 foot deep, and it's full of clamshells. The old septic tank, the water's running into that and it's dissipating if it's not getting into the other tank. So when we dig that up and we hit that, we have to find out where it's coming from. We call the back truck right away, we dam it up and we contain the water that's in there, okay? We broke 1 clay pipe, okay? But the other drain lines is how the system is designed from years ago. And there's no documentation where it's at. And this is part of the problem, people calling Denrec about, oh, they hit the sewer line, it's a force main, blah, blah. It has nothing to do with anything. As I said, you need to call me, you need to talk to me, you can't call Denrec and make false accusations. We have not hit a force main yet. It's a line that comes across the road, has holes in it, the water seeps into the clamshells. These clamshells are black, they're full of sludge. They can't hold any more sewage. And the tanks are overfilled with the sludge, and the sludge goes down the lines and they're packed. And as soon as we leave a little bit of pressure, it just blows it out. That's what Vince is talking about, a drain line. A terracotta pipe is one that runs across the road and is running into the tanks that they previously put in, but down by the center field there between Seneca and Fairview. We purposely pumped the tanks out in the morning, in the front and the back, because we knew that there was a problem there to relieve the pressure, so we could minimize the flow. Again, I talked to Derek, I send Derek pictures every time we have a problem. So please come talk to me. Please. Thank you.
Ma'am,
I'm good.
you good?
I got a question, because you were talking about the septic tanks. I know that on our road down on the D end where I am, there's a tank there to me, it's not your problem, it's management problem. They're not pumping the tank inadequate enough. Cause like once a week, I come down probably, now it's winter, I come down Friday, and by Saturday, I'm having problems pumping the tank. I can't flush my toilet. I've called management a couple of times. Each time I come down every weekend, the tank is full. They can pump the tank on Monday or Wednesday. By Friday or Saturday, it's filled again. But it's not your problem, it's management's problem. We call management and they claim they come and pump, but like I said, the next day, I'm still not able to flush the toilet. But like I said, it's not your problem, but it's a problem that management is, to me, they're not current on their pumping. And I do, yeah,
I was gonna say, Derek, I don't know if you want to mention anything, but I'm assuming that they have to communicate with you because of the NOV.
Yeah, they have to not just communicate with us, but every month they'll put their pump reports on the website. I think they put last month's up just recently.
Yeah.
I think one of the problems is, and I know they've had the same issue, is they could come out and pump, and in a day or two, depending on how much rainfall we get, there are old tanks, there's surface water that's running in there and filling it up. There's a lot of water that's getting in there that's not wastewater, that's filling those tanks up a lot quicker than they should. And I think if Sam's particular case, it's more of us being Denrick, getting a hold of Duff and Smith and making sure that they increase the frequency that they pump at that tank.
Yeah.
If it's just every Monday and it's overflowing by Friday, then make it a Monday, Friday.
even if it's not raining, it's still, and I have a camera, a video camera on that side of the house, and they say they're not pumping, but they say they're pumping, but I can look at the camera on Mondays or when they're supposed to, and a lot of times they just ride right by the pump tank and don't pump it. And
Ground-
I do have another question. I mean, and I want to know about, because I know on Fairview Circle, they're having problems with diaper wipes being clogged in the system up. This happened a couple of times this year. And I was wanting to know, and a lot of people are using these sanitary wipes since COVID has come out, every time they're wiping out. And I'm thinking that they're going to be throwing them in the toilet. And is this going to affect the new systems when they put them in? Because I know that right now they're having problems. I don't know if you know that or not, because anybody's brought that to your attention. I know Fairview Circle is having a problem with diaper wipes being in the system. Is this going to clog the new system that's coming in?
I mean, the way that we have a whole campaign that we've ran, we did it with VB Healthcare. We're doing it with a lot of the retirement facilities, the Lodge Historic Lewes, we're trying to make contact with Harbor Point. You can lead a horse to the water, you can't make them drink. But at the end of the day, flushable wipes aren't flushable. I mean, you can just do a simple Google search and there's lawsuits across the entire country on it. We encourage people not to flush them. They do have an effect on the system. They can clog the system. They can create like rag balls, if you want to look at it like that. So there's an education piece, but at the end of the day, we still got to work through, how do you enforce that? Because once it goes, the first place you're going to see it is really at the pump station where the pumps are, which is back behind Holy Code. So it's a good point to make, and we'll continue to push our messaging, but it's an ongoing battle.
Okay. And will the city be monitoring how much effluents come out of the park? Or will it be monitored individually, or will it be monitored by the park as a whole, the effluents is coming out?
There's no flow meter on what's coming out of the park. It's all gravity fed. I mean, you'll be able to see it as it comes down and goes through Savannah Place and ends up at Halling Cove, because Halling Cove, I believe, has a flow meter on it. As far as from a billing perspective, the sewer usage is based off the water usage. So the bill that's sent to the park owner every month will be based off the 2 6-inch meters that are installed or will
Yeah.
be installed.
Okay, talking about the water, now, we know that in our community, some people are not there for months on end, maybe 3 or 4 months. And years have gone by where if somebody's water, next door person, water has leaked or burst, our water pressure would drop. Since the new system coming in, it'll be individually to each house. Will there be a meter on each house to monitor how much water each house is getting?
No, there'll be 2 6-inch meters for the entire system. There'll be a curb stop and a clean out, which will be located just off the edge of the pavement within an easement area. And that's the demarcation for responsibility line between the Board of Public Works and the individual park owner or the individual lot owners.
So there'll be no way if somebody goes away for 3 or 4 months and the water line breaks, there'll be no way to really tell. Cause like I said, now we can tell by if somebody's water broke, we can tell we get our water pressure next to the home next to them would show up and would drop. And we would say, call management and say, go check it, but we won't have that now.
Yeah, the idea behind the 2 6-inches is because those costs weren't to be passed on and burdened to the homeowners. And so those 2 6-inch meters are to be used for the billing for the park owner as part of the MOU.
So I'm just thinking of 20 years from now, when this is over and we'll have to be paying for water, will they come in and put meters in? Because do they monitor now in cities' homes?
You're
Each house now has a water meter, right? Do they judge how much water goes into each home?
correct. In most cases, there are some that are master metered.
Okay.
So there is actually another park within the city limits that is master meter. 1 meter that reads all the usage for all 16 units.
Because I was just thinking, I know how all of America now, they're really having this water crunch. And I know some municipalities are actually measuring how much water goes to each house to see if they have leaks and things like that. I don't know, talking about down the road, would this be something that's going to be happening into Lewes? The water monitoring a little more closely, especially when they have droughts and things like that.
I mean, it's tough. What's going to happen in 20 years? I can't predict that, but I mean, it's something to keep in the back of our minds. I think the biggest thing is, whatever you guys had infrastructure wise out there today is going to be brand new when it's all said and done. So when you look at like lead and copper is a huge discussion point, and it's the new lead and copper rule that goes into effect October 16th, 2024. All that infrastructure that's going to be within the park's going to be brand new.
And would you recommend that each home kind of change all the plumbing since we're getting new systems? A lot of those pipes and stuff have been there for so long.
Yeah, I mean, it's always something that we want to encourage. You mean, do your own research. There's going to be I'm going to guess a very large PR effort on our side because we have to identify both the private side and also our side. And that all has to be submitted to the EPA, through the state and the EPA. And then I'm guessing there's going to be multiple revisions as we move along. And my guess is it's to identify if the private side, is there a cause of concern with the private side based off the date that it was installed? If you do private side lead swabs on internal piping, and then whether or not the EPA comes down and says, we're going to have, a mandate that piping be reconfigured up into the home. And then the question is, okay, going inside the home, who does that? There's a lot of unanswered questions, but we can kind of see the writing on the wall and where it's headed. So we always encourage, anybody that has a trailer or a home, condo, really, what was the time frame, Robin, for lead? It was outlawed in what, 78 or was it 88?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's somewhere around that time frame. It was ruled out. So in theory, anything after that, you shouldn't have to worry.
Okay.
Anything before that, it's something to just keep in the back of your mind.
Because I know most of them are plastic. They have plastic from the main lines
That's-
to the house.
That's good.
And I'm thinking they should also be changed too. So I'll encourage the community to try to get under there and have some contractors come in and change them.
Yeah.
Okay.
There has been some issues in Cooper Circle. People's water pressure is worse now than it was before they put the system in. I told the people, you gotta take your screens off your faucets
Mhm.
and clean them out. Right now, we have 38 pounds of pressure on the line, on a 1-inch line. Before you had a 1/2-inch line that maybe had 15 pounds of pressure on. So as you get more pressure, all the dirt that accumulated in those lines is gonna get pushed to your exit, which is your faucets. So you need to keep those screens clean for about 2 months. Maybe even longer, to keep checking those. It's not that we're putting a bad water system in. It's the dirt that's getting pushed through to your pipes.
Nobody online?
Anyone else have any questions? All right, so the next meeting will be March 6th. You can cross out February 7th and put in March 6th. Thank you.